welcome to episode 4 of Talk Habesha. Working on the title still. Today is Tuesday, June 30th. My birthday's coming up, and so I'm very excited, thinking about what all the fun things I'm gonna do. One thing I want to reflect on today is the importance of therapy. I think I've been going to therapy for the last, on and off, probably the last 5-6 years, but more consistently the last 2 to 3 years. And that's been really helpful because I find that I'm someone who likes to process things while I'm talking out loud, and sometimes I feel bad for the people around me who have to deal with my processing that way, and so, which, they don't mind at all, but at the same time, it's nice to have someone who, whose dedicated time is to listen to you and try to figure out if they can help guide you. And so I definitely enjoy that. And the therapist I have right now, she's very sweet. I worked really hard to find a therapist that was black, specifically a black woman is what I wanted, but it just didn't happen. I looked a lot, and there was one therapist that I almost was able to book with, but then it just didn't work. So it's hard, but this lady's white, as far as I could tell, and right now, since the pandemic, we've been doing our sessions over the phone. She gave me an option of phone or Zoom, but I decided to just do phone because honestly, I find Zoom to be very exhausting. It takes up a lot of energy for me to be looking at people and all that, and I do that all day at work, so I really don't need to do it for therapy either. So it's been working well for me to just talk to her, and I feel like sometimes I do feel like every session kind of sometimes feels like it's the same thing, but not in a bad way, but in a way where we know kind of the challenge. It keeps coming back to the same thing, which is my kind of, habit of overworking and stretching myself, in kind of not being able to know how to relax or how to rejuvenate, and so just trying to think of different ways to explain the problem or understand the problem, and also trying different methods to combat it, I guess. So yeah, she's great, and I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy that I'm going and talking with her, and it's really useful. And I really do think that if you have the insurance, if you have the ability financially, if you have then really to try and to do it, because I really think that I used to think that going to therapy is if something is wrong with you, but it's actually also kind of preventative. I think anyone that lives in the current circumstances that we live in needs that kind of mental support, because we're bombarded by information all the time. There's so much division in our world, whether that be political, racial, whatever. There's a lot to deal with. There's a lot of heavy things, and especially I think people who work in nonprofit or social justice world, we really need that time to process. And I think that especially people who are working on race and equity kind of work really, really need therapy, because sometimes there's so much doing and being an activist that there's not a lot of time to reflect and to see what you're learning. And I think a lot of people burn out very easily. And I think that I feel like the fact that I have a practice of getting therapy or participating in therapy has really helped me over the years in my career. When I am headed to the burnout, I kind of notice it, or the therapist notices it based on what we're talking about, and is able to help guide me away from it, from the worst of it, which is always good. So definitely just wanted to come out here and just say, I think therapy is really useful, but, I think that if you can't do therapy, then at least, like, making time to find some way where you can, focus on yourself and, like, learn about yourself and reflect is really useful. So however that is a thing for you, I think therapists are nice because they're paid to listen to you, literally. And so you are really in charge of how therapy is supposed to go and what you want out of it. If you just want to talk and someone to listen to you, that's possible, and if you rather get more feedback or strategies, that's another thing. So I don't know, like, it really is great, but I also know that, like, therapy doesn't necessarily fit well with a lot of cultures. Like, I know for Ethiopians, like, our culture doesn't necessarily, like, lends itself well to therapy, and that's also because we don't have providers that look like us or understand the culture. So a lot of people in our community wouldn't be interested in going to therapy because they don't want to talk to someone who they have to explain, like, their life in order to get appropriate care. So so I understand that. And so if it's not therapy, then is it maybe talking to someone that you trust, or is it like a clergy, like a priest, or someone at a mosque or something like that? But whatever it is, it's good to have that dedicated time and space to process our emotion, because I do think that, obviously I've never lived in a different time before, but it just seems like there's a lot of there's a lot of uncertainty in our world right now. There's globally, there's so much more competition, there's so much feeling of I don't know, what's that word, when you lack something, when you feel like there's not enough resources to go around. So it's very stressful, and I really think that when possible, therapy, but really just having dedicated people to talk to and community to have is really, really helpful. And but yeah, I hope that people are doing well today. I am in the end of my work day, and so grateful for my therapist, and grateful for all those who do mental health work, and grateful for my family and my circle of friends and colleagues that keep me feeling heard and in community and supported. So, all right, bye everyone.